Welcome back to Cabin View Firewood. My name is Nick and thanks for joining me today. I have got a couple hours here before it gets dark and I've got a whole lot of stuff I need to get done. For one, I have a big firewood order going out tomorrow, so I need to get that loaded up and ready to go. I need to mow the grass tonight because I am due for my pesticide spray. I have been putting that off mainly because of the weather. It's been raining so much around here and you need a nice dry stretch to spray to make it effective. And one thing that is really pushing me into doing this, the ticks here have been extremely bad this year. So I've already found 2 this year. And this is a little public safety announcement, but if you guys can see that, on that piece of tape is a little black speck, and that is a tick. You cannot look at this and make that out by eye. I had to zoom in with my phone camera as far as I could to see that they're actually little legs, they're moving around. But this I pulled off of Anthony. It was under his arm, and I didn't even think it was a tick at first. It was just a tiny little black speck, and anytime I see that on any of the kids, I try to scrape it off. If it doesn't come off, then it's most likely one of these guys. So they will stick in there pretty good, and you got to be really careful trying to remove them. So I was able to get this all the way off. I think it had just gotten onto him, but this is what you guys need to watch out for when you're working outside, especially if you're in the woods, somewhere like where I live. These guys can be a big problem. So I am going to spray and hopefully get rid of the rest of these, at least in the yard area where the kids are running around and playing. So, all right, moving on. Before I get to the mowing, I want to give you guys a quick look at the new dump trailer. So, as you know, if you've been following the channel, I sold my Wolfe Ridge 35 high output log splitter. I also sold the Iron Bolt dump trailer because I had replacements coming for both of them, and they both actually showed up on the same day. So it was a little unexpected, but it actually worked out pretty well. I spent one whole day getting all that done, and now I'm getting them both to work. So let's take a quick peek at the dump trailer, and then we're going to head down and get the mowing done, and then we'll come back and talk about this a little bit more. All right, so this is the Belmont DLX 14K 14-foot heavy-duty dump trailer. This trailer has a lot of very nice standard features on it. It really wasn't a whole lot more than the Iron Bull, but the build on this is very impressive. "24-inch sides, board brackets so you can raise them up. Those board brackets are 8 inches, so you can put another 2x8 in there. It's got a 27-inch bed height, rear jack stands, nice side steps, 8-inch I-beam, hydraulic jack. Very, very high quality, nice fit and finish. Pretty impressive trailer. So we'll come back and talk about this a little bit more because there are a couple very unique features that this trailer has that I have not seen before on any other dump trailer. So let's head down. You know, we'll go take a quick peek at the new log splitter too. And then I'm going to mow the grass. This is a delivery I'm going to go do. This is a 1-cord rack. So I'm going to load that into the dump trailer tonight. So it's ready to go first thing in the morning. The wood shed is nice and full of bundle wood. The excavator is ready to do a whole lot of digging. And then a couple baskets that I have drying. I got a bunch of empty totes ready to be filled up. I got a whole lot of work to do. And I've got a whole bunch of projects in the mix as well. All right, let's get the tractor out of here. All right, quick peek at the Wolfe Ridge 28C. I got it in green because that's what was available. I didn't really have a color preference. I like all of them equally, but very nice little splitter. A lot of similarity to my 35 high output. Same engine, a little less tonnage, so it's going to be a little bit faster. And not having that big frame that the 35 and the 28 high outputs come on is going to make this a lot more maneuverable, which is exactly what I need. Another cool new feature these have is the interchangeable log lift. So you can switch sides with the log lift or that log guard over there, depending if you're right or left-handed. That's a really nice feature that's on a lot of these new Wolfe Ridge splitters. So we will be putting this to work here pretty soon. I also got it with the oil cooler on there, which I did not have on the 35 high output. So that'll be nice for those hot days where you're trying to get some work done and not kill your log splitter. All right, I'm gonna go mow, and then we're gonna talk about that trailer a little bit more and get that loaded up. So I'll see you guys back here in a minute. All right, guys, the mowing is done. So let's take a look at this Belmont dump trailer before I load it up, because one of the really unique features with this is inside the bed. So let's do a quick walk around here. Now, I've only had this for about a week. I did do one delivery with it, but I'm not going to give you guys like an in-depth review on this thing until I actually get some good use time on it. So this is just going to be a brief walk around. Now, this is a brand new model. So like I said, this is the Belmont DLX heavy duty dump trailer. Has an 8-inch I-beam frame, which is really standard for 14K dump trailers. But as far as standard features, there's a lot of cool stuff here. So you've got your hydraulic jack. First time I've had one of those on any of my trailers, and wow, that is one amazing feature to have. So I don't know if I'll be able to go back after having that hydraulic jack. Big toolbox, so plenty of room for storage space. The other half is your hydraulic tank, your battery. Power up, gravity down, because it has a telescopic hoist. This hoist is one of those really unique features. This is a 5-stage hoist, and as you can see, it does not stick above the height of the trailer. So that is the housing for the tarp, and even that housing is still pretty low. I mean, I think the overall height of this trailer is maybe a little over 4 feet, not much. So overall pretty low. Another cool thing up front here is the harness disconnects from the trailer. So you can unplug this, unplug it from the trailer, unplug it from the truck, and then keep everything nice and stowed away in your toolbox so it's not out in the weather all the time. Demco latch, which is pretty standard as well. but that 5-stage telescopic hoist is really nice. The dump angle, I don't know the exact degrees. I'll look it up here and try to get it on the screen, but it's got a very steep dump angle. Nice side steps, one in the front, one in the rear. The rear stabilizer jacks, rear stabilizer jacks are standard. The top rail is boxed in, so you have a nice, thick, heavy-duty top rail. But then you also have your board brackets, so you can give it even more protection. These are 8-inch tall brackets. So you've got 24-inch sidewalls, and you can add another, well, you can go up as high as you want, but you can throw a 2x8 in there, give yourself another 7.5 inches, which will be really nice because with a 14-foot dump trailer, 2-foot side walls, I can loose dump one cord. You fill it right to the top of the rail and you get exactly one cord. So having that bracket in there, that board on the sides, will give me a little leeway, so I won't have to tarp every time I'm doing local runs, so I worry about stuff falling out of the trailer. When you look down the side of this thing, you can see all the angles in that sidewall to give it a lot of strength. So nice strong sidewalls. We'll put this up in a minute here. But let's go right to my second favorite feature. And everything on this trailer works really nice. Nothing's sticking. The doors open nice. They latch up really tight. Your ramps down below. There's this door. Let's see if I can get this. Lose you guys there for a minute. You just fold that door down. Ramps right underneath. Pull out nice and easy. And then that other very unique feature I was telling you guys about, the amount of D-rings inside the bed. So one of the main things I was looking for when I was getting a replacement, I want to use this dump trailer a lot for hauling equipment and material. So I wanted a lower bed height, which I got. This has a 27-inch bed height on it versus the 32-inch bed height on the iron bowl. And the amount of tie downs inside are going to make it really nice for getting the proper tie down on any equipment you put in here. So you have 4 on each side, so 4 sets of D-rings. And then the steel in this bed, well, for this whole dump trailer, is a little different as well. So they use a Hardox steel. I am no expert on steel, so I'm just giving you guys the basic knowledge I have on it. But what I have found is Hardox steel, it's a hardened steel, and it's used commonly in the heavy construction and mining industry. So it's more wear resistant, abrasion resistant, dent resistant, and allows them to use a thinner gauge but still give you a nice strong trailer. So shave a little weight off of a really heavy duty trailer, and we'll just see how it holds up. But the floor is a little wavy. It was like that when I got it, so you know, I think it's probably going to be similar to like a 10 gauge, but it should hold up a lot better with the abrasion and wear resistance that it is known for. So we'll just see. Time will tell on that one. The tail, or the gate here, is a 3-way gate. So you've got your spreader function, you've got your barn door, and then it also tailgates. Let's latch this up again. Nice and tight, no play in that tailgate at all. And then what's really nice for your tailgate function, you just pull this pin out, pop that latch, and you can drop your gate. The chain works for the tailgate function and for the spreader function. And there's your bar for your spreading. Another nice look at the rear jack stands. Big side step. So that's going to be nice for traction getting up into your trailer. Definitely a heavy duty looking trailer. All right, let's raise this up. So like I said, it's got 5 stages. Gets a little bit faster as you hit the next stage. That first stage is always the slowest. That's where all your power is. There's stage 2. The cord is actually long enough to stand in the back of the trailer, like right at the back of the trailer. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on 4 right now. There is 5. Look at the dump angle. Now this trailer has a 27-inch bed height, so almost the ideal bed height for loading equipment and still getting a good dump angle. At 27, 28 inches is kind of where you want to be, but pretty impressive. Come down, there's one. So there's a good look at the floor. Now this trailer uses fully boxed tubing for the floor. So you can see how that's fully boxed. All the floor supports are like that. So very robust floor support. So between your Hardock steel and how well that floor is supported, this should have no problem handling any of your heaviest loads. Dropping rock in here, dropping logs, and loading equipment, which is exactly what I'm going to be using it for. Oh, you also have, besides your toolbox, you have a nice big tool holder back here. This is your safety bar that pops up, and you can throw plenty of shovels, rakes, whatever you need to haul to the job site. The downside to a telescopic hoist is how slow it comes down. The first couple stages are really fast. You know, 1 and 2 are really fast. 3, you slow down quite a bit, almost half the speed. And then the last 2 just kind of creep their way down. But you're also not using any battery power at this point either. So if you're dumping a lot in a day, this is almost the way to go. So you maintain as much battery as possible just for dumping. You could probably eat your lunch while this thing's on its way down. That's it. All right, guys, quick overview. There will be more to come on this as I get more use in it, with it. Right now, I'm going to load up that 1 cord of firewood and get this ready for delivery tomorrow morning. It should end up being about 9 or 10 bucket loads. I've got a little over a cord here, so we'll see how fast we can get through this. That's just some junk wood. All right, one loaded up. Let's go dump it. All right, guys, I think we're gonna wrap this one up for tonight. I was gonna finish this whole video tonight and get it published in the morning, but I wanna go dump that, and then when we get back from dumping it, I wanna show you guys what the floor looks like. Let's just see how it handled that 1 quart of firewood. Now that's a pretty light load, right? I'm just dumping firewood in. It's bouncing off the floor a little bit, but nothing real heavy dropping in there. But still gonna be, you know, a good test. Let's just see how it handles, you know, this 1 quart of firewood. So I will check back in with you guys in the morning. All right, it is the next morning. I just got back from doing that fire delivery. Let's open up the trailer and see how it held up. So far, that is 2 loads, 2 1 quart loads of firewood I've done out of here. Well, it looks the same as it did before. So the paint's holding up pretty well. And it's just wood that's sliding in and out of here. But you can see, I'll try to get a good angle here. So you can see the floor is a little wavy. It's been like that. Definitely did not get any worse. So I think that's just how this trailer is going to be. So we'll just see how it holds up over time, but so far so good. One of the best things about this trailer so far that I'm noticing immediately is how well it tows compared to that iron bowl. So this trailer is balanced a whole lot better. I didn't show you, I'm kind of mad I didn't get this on film, but before I left, or before I loaded this trailer with firewood, I was at 550 pounds of tongue weight. So empty trailer, 550 pounds of tongue weight on the truck. Loaded up with a quart of firewood, I was at 700 pounds of tongue weight. So I only added an extra 150 pounds with that full load, 1 full quart of firewood in here. So right away I knew this was going to tow much better. So balanced itself out pretty well. We're going to do a little more heavy towing, hopefully in the next week or two. I want to go pick up a couple tons of stone that I need for the road back here, so we'll see how it does with that. But these axles being a lot farther forward really help balance that out. So one really important thing, if you are shopping for a dump trailer, you know, check the axle placement depending on what you're going to be using your dump trailer for. So all right, we're going to do one more thing before we wrap this up, and that is pull the ramps out. See how these hook up. So these ramps are 6 foot long, 16 inches wide. And then we have a bed height of 27 inches. So hopefully loading the equipment will be a little bit easier. All right, guys, that is going to wrap things up for today. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you on the next one.